From Bradley Beal getting sued over a heated interaction with a fan to LeBron James and a courtside Karen exchanging not-so-kind words, here are some shocking moments when NBA players got into it with fans. First of all, a Wizards fan who sued Bradley Beal. Let's rewind the clock to mid-March 2023. Now, I know the Wizards fans haven't had much to cheer about all season long. They missed the playoffs again. Beal's on that massive contract and he rarely plays. Things could not be worse. Unless, of course, you're in attendance for their game against the Magic and you've placed a bet on Beal getting a parlay only for him to cost you $1,300. What do? Well, if you're this fan, you end up yelling at the all-star point guard for costing you so much money. Although, it's a little stupid because it was your decision to place the bet, not Beal's. Unfortunately for the fan in question, Beal actually turned and gave him a piece of his mind, only for it to turn out that Beal was being a bully, as per the fan's attorney, to someone who hadn't yelled. The other fan filed a lawsuit against Beal and the Wizards because he'd suffered pain and suffering and loss of capacity of enjoyment of life. But back to the story. The fan who got mixed up between his friend and Bradley decided to make the most of it and has since filed a lawsuit seeking damages exceeding $50,000. Good luck with that, sir. On the other hand, Beal maintains that his response was due to the fan saying something personal. Let's see how the lawsuit pans out. But we've had far worse incidents, like the time a fan shoved Kyle Lowry. Oh, wait, a little correction in there. It wasn't a fan who shoved Lowry. In fact, he was one of the investors of the team playing against Lowry. Insanity. But that wasn't all. The man also apparently said unkind words after shoving the point guard, and as a result, the right decision was made by the authorities, banning him and handing him a sizable fine. Completely fair if you ask me. You simply shouldn't sit in courtside seats if you can't handle a player accidentally falling. It's not like he was doing it on purpose. Man, yet that's not the most vile thing a fan has done on an NBA court. If we're talking pure disgust, then the Knicks fan who spat on Trae Young takes the metaphorical cake for being an unpleasant sob. Sure, he had a lot of courage doing it in an era where there are cameras everywhere, but also because the fan in question got roughed up, allegedly, by fans and the guards. Deserved. Doesn't matter if the game was at Madison Square Garden, and it certainly doesn't matter if it's a playoff game. Let your team do the talking. You're a fan. Sit down and watch the game. Once again, fortunately, the fan was thrown out of the game, and the Knicks made sure that he was banned from attending more games at the Garden. A fitting punishment. What's even better is Young's response to the incident, as he didn't make a huge deal out of it, taking the high road. Good for you, Trae, and I'm sure that series win would have tasted a lot sweeter after all this. On the same day, though, in another arena, something just as bad happened between Russell Westbrook and a Utah Jazz fan. What makes things much worse is that Westbrook had injured himself during the game and was making his way back to the dressing room. In fact, he was being helped back because he tweaked his ankle and couldn't walk on his own. And don't get me wrong, I know popcorn can't possibly hurt anyone, but that's not a good enough excuse to throw it, though. That too, it's someone who injured himself. Russ's reaction was completely justified in trying to have a go at the fan, especially considering it's hardly the first time he's had to deal with such incidents. The fan also got exactly what he deserved, getting ejected from the game. Hope that stupid idea was worth it, fella. As harmless as it was to chuck popcorn at a player's head, someone actually threw a water bottle at Kyrie Irving. I get it. Kyrie's not the most adored athlete in the NBA, especially not at the TD Garden, considering the manner in which he exited the franchise. But throwing a water bottle at him? What the hell? Harmless taunting, especially from nearby seats, is acceptable and even fun at times. But there's no place for chucking dangerous things at players, no matter how much you dislike them. The Nets had managed to get a win against the Celtics in Boston. Clearly, some fans were a lot angrier than you'd expect, but the incident didn't sit right with Kyrie and the Nets team either. In fact, reportedly the former NBA champion reacted angrily at the fan. As for the spectator in question, well, that one moment of madness ended up costing him severely. He's been banned from Boston's arena for a lifetime. Honestly, Celtics fans have built up a reputation for being the worst ones in the NBA, and the only other fan base that comes close to this reputation is the Jazz faithful in Utah. Remember that laser incident involving James Harden? As dangerous as it is to throw a bottle at someone, pointing a laser into a player's eye is downright pathetic. on top of being dangerous. Camera flashes are discouraged during NBA games, but a fan in Utah took things one step further. As Harden took his place on the free throw line, a fan behind the board decided to shine a laser into his eyes to distract him. Now, distracting opposition players at free throw lines is definitely allowed in the NBA, but only if it's done in a legal way, like the time DeMar DeRozan's daughter DR did it against the Raptors in the play-in tournament. Not only was that hilarious, but also completely legal and absolutely adorable. Shining a laser into a player's eye, though, that's just extremely harmful and could do serious lasting damage to anyone's vision. Luckily, Harden came out of that situation without any issues, and the Jazz fan was banned from the arena. Somehow, the Utah fans keep on making this list. And so does Russ, because a fan once racially taunted Russell Westbrook. There are limits that no one should ever cross. There are words that should never be said. Unfortunately, this Utah Jazz fan never quite got the memo. Not only did he say it once, he repeated it until he got Westbrook's attention, who actually asked him to stop. Fortunately, it was a moment caught on camera, and after review, the Utah management decided to ban the fan in question for a lifetime. Yet, that doesn't feel like justice because these incidents just keep on happening. Fans need to take responsibility for such matters and maybe try to remember that players are also humans at the end of the day. Unfortunately, Westbrook's been here before. He's had to deal with these situations so many times that it's just really uncool. The next one comes from a Sixers-Thunder game, when a fan decided to show Westbrook the double bird on camera in front of his face, all because he couldn't handle a ridiculously fantastic layup from the triple-double king. Credit to Westbrook for handling the matter really well, because he just laughed into his face. However, it's also a painful reminder of just how much of this stuff he's got to contend with. The star would go on to tell the ref about the incident because, well, he shouldn't have to put up with it. And LeBron did the same as well when he got into it with courtside Karen. Oh, this one is absolutely hilarious. So, playing for the Lakers against the Atlanta Hawks, LeBron was getting called out by a fan repeatedly on every offense. I understand that the fans had just returned to the buildings and it was good to finally have them back, but maybe the NBA could do without some of these hecklers. Now, after saying stuff to LeBron again and again, the man got exactly what he was looking for: an interaction with James. LeBron, in a heated manner, had a verbal spat with this middle-aged dude, and you'd think that this is it, but no. The fan in question had his wife stand up and yell at LeBron for disrespecting her man. As a result, LeBron and the fan's wife got into it for a couple of exchanges, and finally the game resumed after the couple were ejected from the game. Addressing the incident later in the post-match conference, LeBron said that he didn't care much about it and liked the fact that fans were back. In fact, he added how he missed these interactions and how he needs them, and also suggested that he didn't believe it was enough for the fans to get kicked out. What a man! And then he also took shots at the lady on his Twitter account, calling her a courtside Karen with laughing emojis, a name that seems to have stuck with her. So, from LeBron's verbal spat with the courtside Karen to a Wizards fan suing Bradley Beal, those were the shocking moments when NBA players got into it with the fans.